So, who do we have with us today?
My name is Angelica.
Angelica, what ended up bringing you to Dr. Johnson's office?
Okay, so I came to Dr. Johnson's office because I had a recommendation from my sister-in-law's aunt, who also came here because she had migraines, and I suffered with migraines. So I decided I'm out of options. Let me try this.
All right, so you said you're out of options. So how bad were your migraines, and how often did you have them, and what severity?
My migraines, I've had them for a very long time. As far as I can remember, at least since high school, probably before that. But they would constantly get worse and worse and worse. I would be able to take, in the beginning, I would take Motrin or Tylenol, and then escalated to Excedrin migraine. If I took regular Excedrin, it wouldn't even work. And then I got to a point where if I took Excedrin migraine, that would not work either. And I was getting migraines like 3 to 5 times a week, like maybe every single day. Like it just depended on the week. And they were very, I can't think of the word. Like you can't do anything. You can't do anything when you have a migraine. I couldn't like function. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't see family. And if I was with family, they would notice that I was in a lot of pain. I would be not entertaining to anybody. It would be really bad. Until I was able to find like a medication that would work. But then the medication I was taking had a lot of side effects, and I didn't like the side effects. I didn't like taking medication every single day. And I also noticed that I was getting more migraines the more medication I was taking.
Oh,
so,
weird.
Yeah, so if I would have like a migraine, I would take the medication and then I would just have a migraine again, like it was like a rebound migraine. And the doctor I was seeing who was prescribing the medication was very, like I would say not helpful, and just prescribing me medication. And then he also was saying that there is no more options unless you go on a daily medication, which I really did not want to do.
So what kind of side effects was that medication that you were taking giving you?
So like one side effect was like heart pain. So I would feel like pain in my chest, and I never have had that feeling before. And another one was when I would take the medicine, I would feel like my whole face was, it was like tingly. It would feel like really weird pain, like in my face, like more in my nose, like my nasal like cavity area.
Wow.
So like I could feel the medicine taking away my migraine, but then I would feel this pain in my face, and I would know that it was like working, but it wasn't like without the side effects.
Yeah.
And then even that side effects, it's not that it wasn't worth it, but I couldn't do that my whole life, because I would take one medication and then I would take it for a month or so, it would work. Then after I would try to take it the second month, it wouldn't work. Then they would have to put me on a higher medication. And so at some point, I'm going to reach a level where I can't go higher than that.
Right.
And then I'll still have no answer. So that's how I ended up here.
All right. So then a family member referred you, and then what did we do and then suggest?
What did we do? And
like how did I figure out what to do for you?
I feel like we ran a lot of tests, a lot of blood work, and then we came up with a plan with my diet, and then also with adjustments and the NATE treatments. I feel like those all together worked really well. I noticed a really big difference with the adjustments. Every time I would get an adjustment, if I would come in with a migraine, I would walk out of the office, I would sit down for 10-20 minutes, and then my migraine would be gone.
Wonderful.
With 0 medications, like nothing, except just the adjustments. So I don't know how long I can go without an adjustment, but I definitely think they're worth it.
Right. Well, that's one of the things we had to figure out, right? And the idea is that you had some patterns in your spine, that had been there for a long time, because you had problems since when you were very young.
Yeah.
And so part of, just like anything else, exercise or anything else, you have to do it over a period of time in order to recondition your body. And so at this point in time, I think we've seen you every couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I think we're pushing it out farther and farther, and it's really good. One other thing that has helped a lot is the diet. Everything you found out through my blood work was very helpful. Even like I notice if I get a migraine now, I can pinpoint what I ate that caused it.
Excellent. So we kind of dialed back your diet to, we used an autoimmune paleo diet to get rid of grains and dairy and soy and eggs and common lectin-containing foods and caffeine, alcohol, and excess sugars, right? And then over time, we ended up having you add some foods back in.
Right.
And at that point in time, that's when you started noticing certain foods would be not as compatible with you.
Yeah, so the diet at first I thought was really crazy. And then and then I realized that it wasn't. This is just my lifestyle. I have to make it my lifestyle because I can't suffer with this anymore. Like, it's not worth it. There's no food that is worth me getting a migraine and like ruining my day or week or anything.
Right.
So, and taking the food out that I was eating, and I wouldn't even say I was on like a super unhealthy diet, but once you like really dive deep into your health and like the foods you're eating, you realize like how much is not good for you and like my specific body.
Right.
And even if it is something healthy, my body does not react well to it. So then it causes a migraine, and I'd rather not have that.
Yeah. So now are you able to work every day and go see friends and family now?
Yeah, everything is way different now. Even this past week, I went like the whole week without a migraine, and I really was like, what's going on? Why don't I have, like, this is actually weird. I don't have a migraine at work. I come home, I eat, nothing, no migraine. I go to sleep, no problems. It's worth like all the work I've put into it and like everything you've done. And I learned a lot, and now I can move on with like my life and then these treatments and know what I can come back to if I, need an adjustment or like something happens.
So one kind of important point is I think that you and her husband would like to start a family.
Yeah.
So if you were on all those medications,
right. Yeah.
And to become pregnant, what kind of effect might that have on the unborn child?
Right. So that was another thing. All the medication I was taking, my doctor would tell me if I were to get pregnant, I would have to like get off of the medication, which was like alarming to me because I could be pregnant anytime. And then also, like, what would I do if I had a migraine? And then maybe that's one of the reasons that we're not getting pregnant, because I'm on this medication constantly.
Right.
So if it's not good for the baby then, maybe it wouldn't be good for the baby when I'm like, don't even know I'm pregnant.
Exactly.
So
that's when they're most vulnerable, is when you don't know you're pregnant.
Right, exactly.
When they're first developing, that's the time. And the most opportune time to prevent like things like autism and Asperger's and other birth injuries, because those are birth injuries, actually pre-birth injuries. They actually occur in the womb before the child's born. And the most important thing is maternal health.
Yeah.
So what you're eating and what medications you're not taking,
right.
and other chemicals that you're not putting in your body are super important during that time.
Right. And then another thing to mention is just that along with like my migraine like neurologist who was prescribing me medication, like I was seeing other doctors to see if there's like any issues with me, and they would constantly come back to like, well, you have these migraines, so maybe this is like something to do with why you're not getting pregnant. And I was just thinking, I always have migraines. How can they have to do with that? But everything in your body has to do with each other. So everything I was eating was causing me a migraine. Maybe my migraines and all the things I was eating was causing me to not get pregnant. So,
right.
I mean, everything is connected, and maybe this having this treatment in the future, maybe I will get pregnant. You never know.
I bet you will. So I have a thought. Did you ever tell the prescribing doctor what you're doing now?
Not yet, no. I only saw him like one time this whole time because he just prescribes me medication, and all I do is a Zoom call, so there is no time. I just get on for 5 minutes and get off. I actually have an appointment coming up where, so like another thing, like I have extra medication where before I would always run out to where I would need his like prescription. Like I would have to make an appointment with him just to prescribe me another month or so. And that would be because I would run out of the medication so fast. And I still have like 2 boxes of the medication I haven't used. I have never like...
So you were having so many migraines, you would run out of the prescription.
Yeah, and now I have like more than I need because I haven't been getting a migraine.
Well, that's really good news.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time to come in and share this, because, you know, a lot of times people say, are these people paid to do this? Like, no. So no. Are you a paid actress?
No, I pay. I pay.
Exactly. But it's funny because we just do it impromptu. I didn't prompt you other than to say, don't say your last name, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, well, thank you so much. And I know this will help a lot of people that are suffering with migraines too. And hopefully, like you said, it's a unique situation for each person. So we don't do the same thing for each person. We have to figure out what that particular person needs. And, you know, we don't treat the label either. We treat the patient.
Right.
You know,
right.
So we don't have to have a name for what the person has. You know,
right. I mean, there could be so many things, but
exactly.
Even I've talked to different girls or even guys that have the same issue as me with migraines, and I always tell them, I don't know what your issue is going to be, but you should still call this guy.
Well, thank you. So, well, that's good advice. Yeah. If you have some migraines and you're not happy with how things are going, you know, maybe give us a call. Yes. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.